Welcome to the Wealth BuildHERS podcast, the women entrepreneurs' home for building successful businesses that generate passive income. You have entered a judgment-free zone, so give yourself permission to shake off all the things you haven't done, because your journey to owning a thriving business you love starts right now.
Hello, ladies, and welcome to the Wealth BuildHERS podcast. I am your host, Renee Williams, and I am here today with my co-host, Camille Davis. And Cammie and I are talking to Bonnie Hubert. Bonnie has spent 25 years working in the education and mental health fields. She is an LPC, or a licensed professional counselor, and she earned her doctorate in educational leadership from the University of Houston in 2015. Currently, Bonnie is the CEO of One Way Life Coaching and runs a Facebook group called High Drive, High Vibe Moms, where she supports and inspires working professional moms. Her ability to communicate and connect with youth and adults makes her a highly sought after speaker and presenter. And even better, she's got a new book. It's Every Woman Needs a Maid: How to Stop Relationship Conflict, Overwork, and Stress so you can live your best life. Here we go right now with Dr. Bonnie Hubert. Hello, everybody, and welcome, ladies, to the podcast. Today with us, we have Dr. Bonnie Hubert.
Hi, how are y'all? I'm so glad to be here with you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hubert. So, Bonnie, tell us a little bit about you. And I know that I met you through Camille, which has been such a joy, just the little bit of time that we've been talking. Tell us about you, who you are, and what it is that you do.
Absolutely. So I am a wife, a mother, a professional woman. I kind of have different areas of my life that make me who I am. And right now, I have 3 kiddos that are out of the house. I have one left at home. He's 15. And so I am loving life, living it, and just every day is a joy right now.
Girl, you look great. Oh my gosh. I thought you were going to say you have little kids.
No, there are 24, 22, 18, and 15.
Yes. And not to imply that when you have older kids, you don't look great. There are lots of women who have older, adult children who look great. But I was just looking at your youthfulness. I just thought that you had like little bitty, babies still at home. So,
well, I do have 2 grandkids also. One is 4 and one is 2 months old. So I guess, I do have littles as well.
You do. That is beautiful. So, Bonnie, tell us about your background. I'm so curious about Dr. Bonnie Hubert. I know you more from the entrepreneurial, kind of the business side. Right. But tell us about Dr. Bonnie Hubert.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, I have been an educator and a counselor for most of my career. So I started out as a teacher. I became a school counselor and then a private professional counselor. And then I, have also dabbled, as many high drive women do, in lots of side gigs. We run a small boarding facility for horses. I've taught group fitness in the past, and I was just telling Cammie this just last time I spoke with her. We just launched our first Airbnb like 3 weeks ago. So I don't know about y'all, but I am like a very high drive, high vibe person. And some people don't get that, and some people do. And if you get it, then you're my people. I had always had a goal since I was 16 years old to be a doctor of something. And I don't know why, but I knew it wasn't going to be medical whenever I took my first chemistry course in college. But I just wanted to go through and learn something to the proficiency of being an expert, I guess. And so that really fueled me. I went to Sam Houston State University for my undergrad. And then I got a master's degree actually from Texas Southern University in counseling. And then I got another master's degree in educational leadership from the University of Texas at Arlington. And I finished it out at the University of Houston with a degree in educational leadership. And so my whole life's passion is really just educating and counseling people, and specifically women, young women and women of all ages.
Yeah,
that's great. I share the high vibe. I'm always doing something, and I think some people don't understand it, like you're saying, because I think sometimes my husband's a great guy, but I think sometimes he's like, why are you doing this? And I just love the challenge. I love to challenge myself, and I share that. I share that energy. That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I think we all do.
Connected, Cammie. That's why.
Yes.
Yes. And I think we all three of us kind of share that the high vibe kind of energy, or the essence of who we are. I wanted to say on a couple of things, Bonnie, that go Bearcats. So Sam Houston State University, I love it. Texas Southern University is my alma mater, so we share that. Yeah, so that is fantastic. And so you have a very similar background to my husband, who is also has climbed the educational academic ladders as well. And so is that kind of what led you, is that background or that educational piece kind of what led you to writing your book?
Actually, no. So what led me to write my book, which is called Every Woman Needs a Maid, is really speaking to women like us that are high drive and high vibe. We have energy. We want to grow and learn and serve. And sometimes women like us, we spread ourselves too thin, and we overwork ourselves. We have stress, or there's conflict in our relationships because of those things that we love to do and people don't get, right? So that is why I wrote Every Woman Needs a Maid. It's really about how to stop the stress, the relationship conflict, and the overwork by doing specific things that will kind of create a better work-life blend, and create time for really what matters to us most. And so that's the gist of the book. And I guess maybe in education, I have been around so many men and women that really give all they have to serving and educating youth, and also staff members if they're in the administrative piece of that. And then they're also like, real estate agents, or they are, they've got the side hustle they do all summer long, or whatever, right? And so they're, again, just being around women that are doing multiple things. A lot of them have multi-level marketing businesses. They sell skincare or clothes, or whatever it is that they love, nutritional products. And so they're doing all of these things, but yet they still kind of feel like they're not really on the top of the water, so to speak. And so that's really who I'm speaking to.
Let's talk more about her, about the lady that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
So is that where your focus is centered now, around your business, your Facebook group, or kind of who is your ideal woman that you're working with now?
Yes, exactly. So I think that I'm talking to the trailblazers, right? But the trailblazers that are trying to do it alone. So if you think about that, you think about a trailblazer, they're like creating this path, a singular person kind of going out, clearing a path through a wilderness, clearing a way for others. But I realized that we can't blaze these trails by ourselves, right? In my experience, it's impossible. You and I we could be at the front leading a charge to blaze this trail like you guys are doing right here on this podcast, right? But there's always people along that will help us blaze that trail. If that wasn't the case, we would run out of things we needed to blaze the trail, right? If we're thinking of a forest, we'd run out of food and supplies, and we couldn't carry the weight of everything ourselves, and we would be stuck. And so I'm talking to women that that are asked the question, how do you have the energy to do everything that you do, right? And those are my people. Those are my clients. I have, in 2015, when I graduated, I left education, the the 7 to 4 kind of education. And I shifted and I went to work for a company called Resilience for Youth. And they have a curriculum called Why Try and Resilience for Youth. So for a couple of years, I traveled all around and I led teaching adults, and I led these workshops. And then the pandemic happened and no more travel. So I had to think like, okay, what can I do? I still want to educate people. I want to coach people.
Yeah.
And then I thought, all right, well, I want to be a coach. I don't want to do the heaviness of the therapy stuff, but I want to be a coach for people. And so I launched my business. It's called One Way Life. And it's life coaching essentially. So I work with women that are high drive, high energy, to kind of rein themselves into the point where they're actually feeling satisfied with life and not just chasing a bunch of things all over, where they're more organized and they take ownership of their schedule. They take ownership of their inner environment and their outer environment. And they have a really concrete plan for executing the processes and systems that are going to get them to where they want to be. Essentially, that's it. And I think that's what you're asking me. Like,
absolutely did. What do you think, Tammy?
Oh, yes. I think that's amazing. And, for me, when she talks about, because I am this person, I chase everything. I love it. And I can be focused too. But even for me, just hiring someone to clean my home, I felt the hugest guilt. I have somebody that comes. Even just today, I went to this women's group meetup, and they were like, how do you do it all? And I said, well, I have somebody clean my house. And I have, now I'm finally getting people hired underneath me because I just try to do it all myself. And I don't know why we try to do it all ourselves most of the time. And some of it's probably fear. Maybe we don't want to pay someone. Maybe it's harder for us to explain what we want other people to do for us. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but no, I think it's great. I think it's great that you're providing this for women, and it's needed. It's a highly needed thing.
Give you a little bit of coaching right here.
Yes, this would be great.
So listen to this. I want to share something. This was a comment that one of my group members posted in the group.
Yes.
So here, I'm going to read this word for word because it's on my screen. I had it pulled up. So I'm going to say, okay, she said, I tell myself I can work full time, parent, make dinners, clean my house. Obviously I cannot, but I hate paying for things I, quote, could do myself. I finally signed up to have a professional cleaner come and do the main living areas, the kitchen, and the master bath. She said, they have been here 2 hours and I'm almost in tears. It's amazing. Imagine if your kids did their house chores without complaining, but then actually did a good job and cleaned stuff you had not even told them to clean. And my house is clean. I was on the fence for a long time, like hiring a cleaning service was some kind of failure as a mom or moral dilemma. But they aren't even done yet, and I am sold. God bless any of you that do this for other people, and any of you that can afford it. Seriously consider hiring help to do the cleaning. We had 319 members react to that. 24 of them commented. And that was like one of the best posts that I've had in my group for a long time. And I was just struck by that. And what you just said really reminded me of that.
Yeah, it's relatable. I think we all struggle with that, and we don't realize that everybody else is struggling with it too. And so, yes, this is great. This is great stuff.
Yeah. I love the title, Every Woman Needs a Maid.
That's
like
right.
you can't find a better book title than that. If you're a woman and even if you've got fur babies and you live alone, you would still like that title, because if you're working, you need somebody, you need help.
It's all about outsourcing. Okay. It's seriously about outsourcing. What can in my book, I talk about being ADD, but it's not the ADD you kind of think of in terms of ADD with attention deficitness. It's learning what you need to make your immediate action and what you can delegate, what you can delay, and what you can delete out of your schedule to free up time for yourself so that you can actually enjoy life and feel satisfied without like, a hamster running in a wheel all the time.
Right.
And so I think that outsourcing is huge. And it doesn't mean that you have to pay for outsourcing. So some moms, they have a carpool, right? Their kids go to baseball practice and the person that they play with lives like 2 minutes away. So it's a learning how to go, okay, I'm going to drive this week, you drive next week, to free up time for both people. I had a neighbor that we did that with our kids, and it was amazing because, that one night a week or that week when we would take turns, we felt like, oh, watery, it's amazing. So outsourcing that, house cleaning, yard work, even, dare I say this, laundry. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe some of people like to do laundry, but I don't. It's like the bane of my existence, to the point where my husband has done laundry in our 25-year marriage more than I have. But I will give a shout out. There's a business in Houston, and her name's Lila Taylor. She owns the Laundry Fairy. Anybody needs to hook up with the Laundry Fairy, because it literally feels like it's like the Tooth Fairy moment, where you open up and you have money underneath your pillow where the tooth was, because she literally, and I only started this in December, y'all, for less than $100 a month. She does 4 loads of laundry for me at a time. So it's like $40 and then $40 2 weeks later, just those 8 loads of laundry. I'm like, I can't explain it. I don't know why I didn't do it before, but I leave the bags out there on my porch. The next day they show up all hung up and folded, and I just put it away.
Yeah.
So things like that, it's like, why do we feel like we're failures as moms, or some sort of moral dilemma to actually outsource some of those things? Yeah. When it comes down to it, the biggest challenge in being a professional working woman and a mom is not having enough time to do all the things that need to be done at work, balancing time in all areas, and then or mom guilt. And so being able to really just address all of those things, have some tools, and also like be among other women who are gonna uphold you, just encourage, and not be like, oh, well, you have to hire a maid. Well, I like to clean. I've heard people say that. I'm like, what? I like to clean, or I cannot have another person come into my home because that's just, no, that can't happen. I'm like, well, then you don't want it bad enough. Like you want to be in turmoil then, because nothing's going to change if you don't make some changes first. So, yeah, one of the things when somebody joins my group, the thing that I send out is called 3 ways to instantly create 30 hours a week for what matters to you most.
Yeah.
And that's the amazing thing, is that we can create time for whatever we want to create time for.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen.
Yes, I agree.
Great.
So I wanted to ask about a couple of things on the note that you're talking about right now. The first one is that if we are high performing, high energy, or high vibe types of women, then that means that we're probably capable of doing a lot of things that are not getting done because we're so weighed down with all of the other things in our lives that we could technically hire or have someone else do. So now you're forsaking your purpose or your gift because of all the stuff that you won't let go of because you're concerned about what your mother-in-law might say, or your spouse might say, or, something that's within you that's holding you back. So what about purpose, Bonnie? Is there any room where we have to focus more on our purpose and let go of our preconditioned notions about all of the things we're holding on to?
Amen to that. Absolutely.
That's a good question.
That's a great question. So for me, it's about priorities. Okay. So when I work with a client, we talk about life theaters. Like if you picture a theater, We are, there's a stage. And in our lives, we are performing on various stages in these theaters of life. So we might have, family, social, professional. We have spiritual. We have physical, like health and well-being, even financial, right? So all of these different theaters, we cannot perform on the stages at the same time and expect any good result from that. It's not possible.
Yeah.
So it's about prioritizing what are the most important theaters of life that I want to focus on right now. Where is my purpose right now? Because our purpose kind of changes as we, grow and evolve ourselves over time. And so it's about saying, okay, I'm going to choose these 3 areas of my life to really perform well in. And the other things have to set aside for later. That doesn't mean I have to give up on them. It doesn't mean they're going to go away. I just have to kind of set it to the side for now. And this is an actual it's a hard thing sometimes for women like us to do. I had a client once.
It right now. I'm literally going through that right now.
Yes. Yeah. You're speaking to experience right now.
So one of my clients, I had her, she loves like visual things. So we had sticky notes and I put the different theaters on these sticky notes. And then underneath that, she wrote in each theater what she was doing at that time. And I mean, this was a person who created a product that she was selling online. Incredible. She was really high up in an MLM. She was homeschooling her children. She's like teaching some exercise and health and nutrition type of stuff.
Okay.
Like 5 things.
Yeah.
All at once.
Yeah.
And she was like, always stressed out, feeling overworked, unsatisfied. And so what we did was we lined all this stuff out and I asked her the question, okay, if you have to pick 3, which ones would you focus on? Which are not that one is more important than another, right? We always know family's way up there, right? But sometimes in our families, it's smooth sailing. We're pretty good. Our relationships are good and they're strong. So we might say this one's doing okay for now. That's not going to be my focus, my 100% focus. So anyway, this was like a very difficult thing for her to do. She physically, like I said, okay, can we move this one? She's like, don't move that one. Like moving the sticky note. She's like, no. I said, what about if we just fold it? Like fold it in half. And she's like, okay, I think I can handle that. So it was really interesting to me because it is something that like goes down deep into our cores. What is our purpose? Where do we draw that energy from? And what are we like trying to focus on?
Yes.
So by prioritizing, we free up ourselves. We also have the strength then to say no, right? Because if I have 3 priorities, or, I've even let someone keep 4 one time. 5 is too many. Okay. It really is.
It is.
So, like, for example, I had a client, she was an entrepreneur. She owned a business, all this stuff, but her kids went to the school and every once in a while they would need subs and it was a private school. So they would ask for parents to come in and sub and she would always say yes, always say yes. So once we went through this, she had the courage to say, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Because it really didn't line up with the things that she was focusing on at that time. Yeah. But before that, she always felt like she had to say yes. I have to say yes to this. I have to say yes to that. I have to say yes to everything going on. And then it just makes you want to pull your hair out because we have time to say yes. We have time to like go and do something, be somewhere. Yeah. Help someone with something. But guess what we don't have time for if we are doing too many things? Yeah. What do we not have time for?
Ourselves. Both of us. Ourselves.
That is the number one. But also, we don't have time to follow up. We don't have time for thoroughness.
Yeah.
And quality that we need to be able to give something. It's like when I'm rushing, I have a client record, right? So I have it online. Well, if I'm rushing to the next thing. I may not always circle back and write down, okay, where are we at? What are the next steps here? And I need that for the next time I meet with a client, right? So that's just an example. So really kind of looking at the various theaters, where you're performing, what stages you're performing on, and just deciding, okay, I'm going to focus on these, allows us to really have more of a laser focus, be able to say, I'm not going to say yes to anything doesn't align with these things that I'm focusing on right now. And it's just freeing. It's freeing.
Yes. I know how that is, because I have a hard time saying no to things, and I don't like the word can't. So I just have to put instead of I can't do this, I'll say I'm choosing not to do this right now, but maybe I can do it later or so. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if I feel like I'm not as good a person if I say that, or if I get my value from doing that. But it is a hard thing to learn, to like prioritize and pick the most important things, and you can't do everything all at one time. So it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to do.
I agree with you, Cammie. And I think that the benefit of working with someone like Dr. Bonnie Hubert is that you can kind of get coached through the process, because it has to be done, because you can't do everything. And there's always an opportunity cost. So whenever you're saying yes to something, you are saying no to something else. Every single time I say yes and I commit my time here, that means I'm saying no to these other things over here. And so, Bonnie, I know you were saying that, family, if it's going smoothly, and I've got an 18-year-old and a 20-year-old. So I know that there have been times that all's been well, it's quiet, everybody's making A's and B's. There are no teachers calling. Nobody's been to the principal's office. We're not having any issues at school, no social, no friend issues. So all is quiet on the home front. My husband's happy with his job and work. And so, yes, I can pick up some other things. But then as soon as the home plate starts getting wobbly, but I'm still holding on to those other things that I've picked up, that means now I'm saying no to my family, because I've said yes to all of these other commitments, including things that are as small as, like we were talking earlier, cleaning the house or carpooling or doing all these other things. Well, we have to figure out a way to be okay with saying no to some things, so that we can say yes to the things that are our priorities and those theaters that you were talking about. And that's something for some of us, we have to learn. That's a coaching moment for a lot of us.
Absolutely. And it really is, I mean, have y'all ever heard of the self-coaching model? Brooke Castillo, who is kind of a guru of life coaching, she owns the Life Coach School. So she teaches coaches. And she has something called the self-coaching model, which really, you take the circumstance that you're in. So like, let's say your circumstance was everything's rocking along cool. You're kind of shifting your focus over here because you can, but then some over here starts going off, right? So that's your circumstance. Oh no, I have got to put my family first again. Now, what comes after that is what's the important thing, which is the thought about that.
Okay.
So what do you make that mean? Because, like if I don't, then blah, blah, or I'm the only one that can, which is
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Or I'm letting someone down.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
All of these things, our brains, these stories that exist in our heads, we make something mean a certain thing, and that causes a feeling in us that creates action, right? So if I am feeling bad that something's going on over here, but I'm over here with my work thing, and I make it mean that I'm a bad mom if I don't, right? So then my action is going to be different than if I said, I'm a great mom, but I have this commitment over here. So what can I do to kind of meet that need? Maybe it doesn't involve me right now, but I still need to keep my commitment, right? How can I look at it from a different way so that I can feel okay? Because the truth is we're all okay. We're okay. And we tell ourselves we're not. We tell these stories in our head that make us feel bad or guilty or lacking in some way. And then we take action. And sometimes the result we get actually proves that our thought was true. That's the weird part about it.
Well, so that's the self-fulfilling prophecy, right? The inner mean girl is always right. Like, yeah.
No, that's true. It is. So I think, another thing that we work on is the way that we think about things. And if we can change the perspective just a little, sometimes it can have a completely different outcome. I will give a plug for a book that I love and I'm reading right now. I'm almost done with it. It's called Choose Your Story, Change Your Life. And it's by Kendra Hall. And that book is so practical because it talks about the stories that we tell ourselves and how it can cause self-loathing. It can cause major obstacles, and it can slow our pace down. And so she talks about how we can choose our story. And when we do that, we are able to move forward, feel happier, and essentially change the course of what could have been if we held on to one of these destructive stories, essentially.
Yeah. Oh, so good. So good. Well, before we're getting short on time, before we go, I want to touch on a couple of things that you've mentioned. So One Way Life is the name of the group. Is that your Facebook group or your coaching program?
Yeah. So my coaching practice is One Way Life Coaching. And you can find me at www.wedevelopu.com/Hubert. That's my website. And then I have a Facebook group online. It's called High Drive, High Vibe Moms. And it's a sisterhood of professional working moms. And so I'm posting there 3 to 4 times a week. I do a Thursday live, which is just coaching 10 minutes on the lunch hour, right? Even, if you're busy, you can fit that in. And then, of course, you can watch the replay. And coming up, I'll be launching my book, Every Woman Needs a Maid. So I'll be taking pre-orders soon for that. And I'm also going to be launching this summer some group coaching opportunities. And you can find all of that, found out about that either on my website or in the Facebook group.
Great. Give us the website one more time, Bonnie.
It's www.wedevelopu.com/Hubert.
Okay. And it's We Develop You. Is it YOU?
WeDevelopYou.com/Hubert.
Got it.
I love those names. Those are great names.
I agree.
I think what y'all are doing is phenomenal as well. I mean, look at how you're affecting women. Just already affected me. Helped me to just have the confidence to do something I've been wanting to do for a while and opening up this Airbnb. And y'all, can you believe this? I launched it 3 weeks ago. I am completely booked, every single day of the month. I mean, my mind is blown. It's blown.
Wow.
So excited. Yeah. I mean, just add basically $3,000 a month to my income.
Yep.
That's amazing. Amazing. I love it.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That is an awesome accomplishment for getting it through the whole process, getting it all done and getting it launched, getting the house out there.
Yeah. And y'all, you know what? Okay. So I live on 5 acres and I told my husband this, he's a little nervous. I'm like, they have such cute little tiny houses. We can put one over here on the side of the barn, by the stables, by the horses. We can call it Country with the Horses or something like that. He's like, oh my gosh, no.
I love it.
So he's gonna have to rein me in.
No, don't rein you in. Do it. That's me. Right. That's me. My husband's the same way. Wait, hold on.
Yeah. Well, if if we already have one to clean, we might as well just have 2, right?
Yeah. Or you just find that really good cleaner, because that's what I did. And then you just sit back and watch the money roll in. It's great.
Amen. Amen to
Yeah.
that.
All right. Well, ladies, thank you so much. Again, Dr. Bonnie, Hubert, thank you so much for being with us today. And we will
It was my pleasure. Thank you, Renee and Cammie. It was so
Thank
amazing.
you. You're wonderful.
That's all for this episode. Come back soon for more tools, resources, and great stories from successful women entrepreneurs. We believe you absolutely can build a business you love and have passive income. Until next time, thank you for listening.